sleeping in my grave. But God blessed me to see. He blessed me to see another day. Even when I did wrong, He was still on the throne. Oh yeah, I'm so glad He hears a sinner's prayer. I'm so glad that God, yeah, I'll sinner's prayer. Let me pray, our Father, let me pray, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Forgive us this day our daily bread, and forgive our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from all evil. So glad He delivers me. Oh, the power and the glory forever, forever and ever. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. So glad. God, He's still here. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. He can still hear my sinner's prayer. Yeah, I'm so glad. Hallelujah.
Y'all, did you get it up too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's all.
Oh, okay. Apologize to him. We have a surge of power or something there. Somebody must hit something.
Yeah.
Flick at the power there.
Power surge.
Power surge.
They're probably working on something.
They're probably working on something because all these floods and all this stuff been going around here. It's probably something that flickered and all and knocked us off here and everything. But we're back up and going here now.
Yeah.
All right. Our Torah read for this week's Parashah is taken from the book of Numbers, the first chapter, starting at the first verse through the fourth chapter and the 20th verse. That is Numbers 1, starting at the first verse through the fourth chapter and the 20th verse. Our Haftorah read is taken from the book of Hosea, the second chapter, 1 through the 22nd verse. That is Hosea 2, 1 through 22. This week's Parashah is Parashah 34, which is Bamidbar, mean in the desert. Our scripture reading will be given by our Haftorah read, will be given by our Shamash, which will be taken from our Haftorah reading. Let us give him our undivided attention as he read the word of God to us.
Shabbat Shalom. Scripture reading is taken from the book of Hosea, the second chapter, 18 through the 23rd verse. That's Hosea, second chapter, 18 through the 23rd verse, and that's page 709. When that day comes, I will make a covenant for them with the wild animals and the birds in the air and the creeping things of the earth. I will break bow and sword, sweep bows from the land. Yes, I will betroth you to me in righteousness, in justice, in grace, and in compassion. I will betroth you to me in faithfulness, and you will know Adonai. When that day comes, I will answer, says Adonai. I will answer the sky, and it will answer the earth. The earth will answer the corn, wine, and oil, and they will answer Yisrael. God will sow. I will sow her from Rukamah, unpitied. I will say to Lo Amni, not my people. You are my people. And
You know, our people are constantly getting things that our people doing all kind of stuff, and the fact that we can't seem to get on one accord with nothing. You know, and this is certainly not what he wants us to do. He wants us all to get into a certain mind and condition, because he's getting ready to do something for us, and he wants us to have that, to get Egypt and those things there. And so there was a reason why he caused us to go down to Egypt. We have fulfilled that. Okay? What was the reason why he caused us to go down to Egypt? Okay? To make us a great nation. Okay? Well, we did multiply. We did become that full nation.
that's right.
Okay? That's done. We ain't got to come back again. We've been scattered all over the world.
That's right.
See? But he wants us to be able to come together, okay, as one,
That's right.
and hearken to his instructions. So here, when he got us into the wilderness and got us out, you know, there were people that had all kind of mindset, even among Israel. There was many of them that came out, see, not because they wanted to, not because they had a choice. Why did they come out? Anybody, why did they come out? The Egyptian kicked them out.
Oh, this is a go. Yes, it was. That's right. Oh, they gave him gifts to go.
The Egyptian kicked them out.
And after the need to everything. That's true.
Read it. It says that he said, after this here, they will thrust you out. You worried about talking about they ain't gonna let us go. Look at all these 9 times they ain't let us go and everything that they just gonna play that sugar. God said, no. When I get through this last time, you better be ready to go. Have your loins girded, your shoes on and everything, because they gonna thrust you out of there. You ain't gonna have no choice. Dathan and him and some of them other that we told you to leave us alone. We didn't want to go. You didn't have no other choice. You got to get up out of here. He said, you don't cause too much trouble for us. We don't want you around. So, but God had something planned for them and had instructions for them. But they weren't ready for it. See?
Some of I've heard some say that when the firstborn of the Egyptian children was male that died, but I thought it was just firstborn of male or girl, female that died.
Yeah, there's a controversy. This is why. You get that from the scripture, where it says that I save your males, and so. But yet still, we find that we find that the animals and everything.
Right.
See, everything lost its firstborn.
Right. Whatever was firstborn.
Right. And so there's other arguments say, well, it just made mention that because this is how what you was to equate, because God equated it with a certain aspect of what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about here. God told, but he said the firstborn was on. And my understanding too that the firstborn of everything, see, animals and everything, well, everything was living. See, but man bring a hardship on everything. Ain't that something?
Firstborn, everything.
Yeah.
Cricket, caterpillar.
Right.
Hey, wrong.
Everything else in Egypt.
That's just bad, man. Yeah.
That's something. Not only where they was at, he said Egypt.
Yeah. That's right. All Egypt.
Right.
All Egypt. So, hey, that's our God. See, you gotta be careful what you mess around with our God. And so here, let's go to Numbers, the first chapter there, and start reading the first verse there, the first 4 verses there, and God is going to give some instructions here.
Says, Adonai spoke to Moshe in the Sinai desert, in the tent of meeting, on the first day of the second month of the second year after they had left the land of Egypt. He said, take a census of the entire assembly of the people of Israel, by clans and families. Record the names of all the men 20 years old and over who are subject to military service in Israel. And you and Aaron and are to enumerate them company by company. Take with you from each tribe someone who is head of a clan. These are the men to take with you.
All right, so here we see God is the one that brought them forth and gave instructions of selections.
Mm-hmm.
See? I want the 12 tribes identified. I want to get assessment of all that is here and those things are, because getting ready to move forward, and we got to have some accountability. Everybody has to have the responsibility, and to step forth in their accountability, and it's going to work in that end there, because I got something in mind. See. And the responsibility is going to lie with them and the operation of how they do.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to have to stand on our own. We can't stand for husbands. We can't stand for wives. My wife did that. My husband did that. What did you do? See? For my mama, my daddy, what did you do?
Right.
Well, I did it, but my husband, he wasn't going to act right, so I didn't act right. My wife didn't act right, so I decided I wasn't going to act right. Well, you should understand some situation like that. How did God fare that there?
Both of y'all get the same punishment.
Yeah, there you go. That woman that you gave me.
Well, you took it. I ain't get the blame it all on this time.
That woman you gave, she gave it to me. I didn't do it on my own. I didn't do it.
Well, you took it.
But you ate it though.
Did she shove it down your throat?
You didn't say I don't, I won't, I'm not.
I'm snitching. I'm telling.
Right. So God they're passing the buck and all that stuff there and all that there, and ain't gonna get it.
She had that pretty smile.
Oh yeah, she probably feeling. Oh man, I imagine it tastes good too. Oh yeah.
Boy, the smile. So you say. Say that now.
Well, what did you done gave me? Too late.
Yep.
And so we see that these are the issues and these are the things that go forth here. And so God gave instructions, to take a census of the entire assembly of the people of Israel, and by clan and by families. Y'all want to make sure and to understand the fact that the whole 12 tribes, all of them, not just some tribes, not just Jews, but Israel, all 12 tribes, and there's accountability that God is operating on. Because he promised it to all 12 tribes. See? And they were to sure they was to be a part of those things there, and God brought them forth there, and so he wanted, once he got a tally of that, then he knew what to make the next step that he was to do for them and those things there. Start reading the 16th verse.
These were the ones called from the assembly, the chiefs of their fathers, clans and heads of thousands in Israel. So Moshe and Aaron took these men who had been designated by name. And on the first day of the second month, they gathered the whole assembly to state their genealogy by families and clans, and recorded the names of all those 20-year-old and over, as well as their total number. Moshe counted them in the Sinai desert, just as Adonai had ordered him.
Did you understand that 20 became a very important, significant number?
Yep.
It became a very scary number. Right?
Yep.
A dreaded number.
Yep.
But at the time when he was doing this, well, y'all knew about what they was going to do and those things. So God said, all right, y'all unnumber those things there. Then he read on. Yeah.
The men 20 years old and over who were subject to military service was recorded by name, family, and clan, starting with the descendant of Reuben, Israel's firstborn. Here are the totals.
All right, now we're not going to go through all those things there, but God already had an idea. God had already set this thing in motion, so people would come up and say, hey, I'm under 20.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You see how God was well planned, already ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got some people that lie in the second one. I ain't that old. He says that the God set a time limit and set that number.
Mm-hmm.
See, all y'all better go on in, all y'all gonna. Hey, I'm still young. I'm only 15. I just later was up when I was in Israel, and she come up there talking about a little baby, and it's going to look like she ain't had a baby in years. She got me with it too, boy. I feel good today. I didn't think about it till I went back on up there. The another lady pointed out to me, and when I told her that, she laughed. You believe like you believe her?
She had her cup out on somebody, and you looked at it and say, I just gave my last little woman down there with the little baby.
Right. And then dawned on me until she brought it to my attention, and I looked at her. I said, this woman ain't had no little baby in years. Yeah.
So does y'all call 20 years old age of accountability, or do we count age? So you go by y'all's calendar of your accountability at that point?
Well, he said this was subject to military
service age.
Yeah, military service age.
In other words, strong, strapping young man.
That's it. That's right. That's right. The one that should be. It's time for you to take responsibility and lead out. Old men for what? Wisdom?
Young man fool.
That's right, strength. Yeah.
What I found, I have like 30 something nephews, okay? And they, when they were about 12, 13, they're like, have had a really, like, 16 is strong, very strong. I mean, I'm strong, but I find as I get older, I lose the strength that I had. But if I eat right, I do pretty good. But I see, them at 13 as a pretty good, strong age. So, but then when I was also young, when I was staying in the sun a lot, it would mess with my mind, and I would start crying. I want to go in because it's too hot, but that's you train it for. If you train it, son, at a young age to endure the heat, endure all the different things that they have in life. Then we learn at a young age. So when they said Solomon gained wisdom at 12, but then he had overseers to train him and mentally, because if you let a young boy cry about certain things he's going to have to endure later on, he'll be weak. But if you train him at a young age to endure those things that he's going to have to do anyway, then he's strong at his young. So it's a mindset thing. When I say a young boy starts at about, a man starts at about 12, 13, because they got their full strength, and then you got to train their mind to catch up with their body. I'm going to leave it alone.
It is that we got a settlement of activity, a machine that is self-healing, and we got the ability of recovering. This is where you find out young folks versus old folks, and even in the boxing and in those things there, and then whatever you do, there was a guy he was talking about. He said when he used to fight and everything there, if a guy would hit him with a good shot, stun him, but he could recover back real quick. As they got a little older, guy hit him like that, legs got all out of white. He gonna wobble and stagger, and hey, his recovery time is down. So there's a peak to our aging and our recovering and doing those things there. God has said that when you get a certain age, like I said before, when I was young man, 20s and those things there, hey, I twist my ankle, I run it off. After I get in my 40s, twist my ankle, I'm done.
Sit down for a minute.
Yeah. After I get in the 50s, twist the ankle, I'm on crutches.
That's why when they had to draft, that's why they was drafted at 18. Because you was young then, and once you got up in your 20s, 30s, you're going downhill then. But when you're 18, that's why they was drafting at 18.
You might think that you and that happens a lot. After you get on up in age, you think you can do a lot more than what you can do, but your body just don't get it done. See, like one of the boxers was saying, I think it was Muhammad Ali. He said he found out that after he got up to age there, he said he'd see a guy, he done got him set up and everything there, and he said he'd have to think about it then to hit him after he got a little older. He said, but before that time, he didn't have to think. No, he saw it, bam, he was hit, and everything. Then after he got a little older, he had to think about it. I need to hit it. And then after he got a little older, see, he said, I should have hit him. Yeah.
So, bottom line, what I'm saying is, it's the mind. It's the mind. If you train a child up, the Bible says, if you train a child up in the way they should go when they're older, they won't depart from it. When you start a kid out young, he can accomplish, like a young man or a young woman, they can accomplish a whole lot in life at their young age. When I first moved to Tulsa, God had me recognize the young couple that was way far advanced financially. And they were like so young, like 26, 27. I'm like, golly, here I am, 34, 30. And it's like, they way far advanced than what I should have been. So I started focusing on that, like the young couple was way far. They had RVs, they had homes, they had 2 cars, and I had none of that. So in other words, Tulsa, to me, mentally, when they got their mind right, they train their children up. By the time they get a certain age, they can accomplish a lot of things. And like before, like they say, some people say life starts at 50. Well, in Tulsa, what I found out, or when I found out young people that get trained up early, it starts at like 25, 22. You're at the age of 70, you have the things at the age of 70. That's all I'm trying to say. Start out getting them young. Don't give them no crybaby. Don't let them cry. Just keep hitting them with the, because life don't give them that anyway. But I had learned that it gave it to me at a later age anyway than what I had to deal with in the young. So I'm young with them, you know, you'll get more out of them and they'll have more life.
It depends on what you're going to, you know, it depends on what you're going to do, because our children have been raised up from babies. We have children that get children that have been raised up in this way for years. Started out young, started out as babies in this. See? But where they at now? See? So God set forth this here because there was a title and there was a setting up that he was choosing and a criteria. And so he told them to count them, to get those things together, get everything enumerated out, because the whole house of Israel was to be in effect and was to take over and to have a part in what was going on. And divided it up into those instructions. And then when we started reading there, he separated them out by their tribes. Because he promised that to the whole house of Israel. See? Not just one tribe, not just 2 tribes, but all 12 tribes. The whole house. And we go to the 47th verse there for shortness of time here. We're going to go and start reading there. Numbers 1:47.
All right. Those who were Levites, according to the clan of their fathers, were not counted in this census, because Adonai had told Moshe, do not include the clan of Levi when you take the census of the people of Israel. Instead, give the Levites charge over the tabernacle of the testimony.
Now, I want you to understand something. Please get this, because a lot of people get this all wrong. God can give whatever command he want to give. But there was one time that started and took a census of the house of Israel and got in trouble. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Bought a terrible. God didn't want me to know what children do. God didn't want me to do it. But why did he let them do it here? And why you want to get some?
Because y'all the one said, give the number, but he didn't tell David to.
See, so this what I want to get. We can't lock God into a box because God had a reason why he was doing this.
Right.
God was one that was making a specialty. He was the one that was setting a tribe out. And he wanted them to count them, but David.
By numbering the people, you determine how many people you have. You determine how do you split the land based off the number of the people.
Right.
David had no reason to do that because the land has already been given to him. So
there you go. So you just can't just do and do anything that you want on your own and think, why? Because Israel belongs to Yah. But you can't mimic what he doing. You can't say, well, the Lord did it, so I can do it. No, you can't do that. But he let Aaron do it and all those things there. And how come I can't do it? I'm the king.
He told him.
They belong to me. And I can do whatever I want with what's mine.
When they open up the ground and make it go again.
See? But see, this is how we get ourselves into trouble when we start equating and getting ourselves dealing with the God of Israel. He's not like everybody else. He's not. We can't.
But that's just like brothers. You know, they want to hate Israel, hate Esau because y'all hate him. They can't. Y'all didn't tell them to hate.
As a matter of fact, what did he tell us to do? What did he tell us to do about Esau? What did he tell us to do about Edom?
Not to hate him. They your brother.
He said what?
Don't hate him.
Yeah, what did all our brothers say?
Well, he is your
Hiding
brother.
about it.
Because they said y'all hate him, so hate him. Y'all hate him, I'm gonna hate him too.
But that's y'all. You
Right.
didn't know that.
Now you're falling. Now you're getting.
He tell us to love our enemies.
That's like
Y'all want us to be one with him in Hosea, but we got to understand how he wants us to be one with him. As a matter of fact, he asks us a question. You know, can you give life? Then why would you compare yourself with me who can take life and give life?
Right.
Therefore, my command to you is thou shalt not murder.
Right.
I can wake you up and kill you again if I want.
There you go. You can't do that. So why would we compare ourselves with him and say, well, God killed, and so therefore I can go out?
He can do it.
Yeah, just like, you know, y'all say he hates sin, so yeah, we should hate sin too.
Yeah.
But they figure, okay, if we supposed to, y'all hate sin and we hate sin, y'all hate Esau, we hate Esau.
So what happens when you sin?
Yeah.
So what happens when you sin? You hate yourself?
No.
But you supposed to hate sin because God hates sin.
Right. Because that tells you that you shouldn't be out there doing.
Read on. We'll show you what's going on there.
50th verse says, instead.
Did you read 40? Started
Okay. Started at 47.
Okay, yeah, read that again.
Okay. But those who were Levites, according to the clan of their fathers, were not counted in this census, because Adonai had told Moshe, do not include the clan of Levi when you take the census of the people of Israel.
God had told him not to include them in. That's what I want to get to. And as you were saying, you know, how come they ain't gonna be counted in? Oh, they something special, huh? They don't, you know how we Israelites here, you know, hey, oh yeah, how she get a chance to do so and so and so? How come I can't do it? Or how come he can do it and I don't? You know, we bad at that. Israel is bad at that shit. We got to step forward from those things there, because those things is gonna get us in big trouble. That attitude gonna get us in bad trouble. See? Look at that. Watch it. I'm gonna show you. See, he gonna take favor over her, and then over me and all. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. That's what God was telling Israel. Yes, I'm gonna do it. And it ain't none of your business. Yeah.
Remember the passage in Bread Out of the Shower where Cable was standing from side and said, what about him? He was like, well, if I want to remain till I come, what business is that yours?
Right.
You do what I tell
You
you.
sure? That's what she happened that way.
You do what I tell you to do. Don't worry about
That's exactly what it is. God was trying, as we were saying, God was training us. He was focusing us on what we know how to what we going to have to experience, what we going to have to get by, and what we going to have to do. Because he's the one that had this plan set up. And yes, there is difference in people. Yes.
Giving people different talents.
I've heard people say this, and I'm still really. I love my children all the same. I treat my children all the same. But I've had multiple children, and that's a lie.
Yep.
Y'all husband, is that true? Am I lying? Or am I telling the truth?
Everybody knows.
Tell the truth.
Everybody knows my household. I put the youngest in charge of everything.
Somebody done got mom and showing it, and boy, argue me down and all that. And it didn't take very much talking to them and everything, and then it's time to get their own self. You got some kids that are cut up and all that. You won't even holler on them. Now, don't talk to them. You ain't even on them. I remember we was at one place there, and they said, "Who's that little bad boy? Who's the parent of this bad boy here?" Didn't nobody come and say, "That's mine, that's mine."
It happened to us. It happened to us. They were sitting there with the other fella that we had. He said, he come out of the bathroom and say, "Who little boy is that?" I said, I ain't say a word. Somebody hollered, "That's the older little
Say you bring his mother to shame. And he sure will, because you'll see him coming, you'll say, "Here come Brother Miles and Evelyn and that little bad boy."
Yeah, I said there, I wasn't gonna say a word.
Now they say something good about it and all that wrong, and you can't be able to give them. Oh yeah, that's my baby. I'm the mama. So don't tell me they're gonna treat them all the same way. And so God was setting this up with them and all those things. Yeah, let them know. Yes, get this under your understanding. I'm the one that got things in mind. I'm the one that got plans here, and y'all want this. And even though God set up all these things for us, we still have trouble out of us.
Yeah.
When you do your best and set up your best for us, and you still have trouble out of it. Guess what? God had trouble out of it. So when we do our best for our children, that's all we can do for them. And even at our best, they still go out on their own and go out and cut up and everything. And hey, we ain't ready to jump up and get, Carol, that's my son, that's my daughter.
I think they've been trained.
That's right. But they've been trained.
Yeah.
They've had advantages that we didn't have.
Yeah.
Because we were brought up under that other thing. They ain't never been under that other thing. They ain't never been had it.
I was going to just dab in and see what I've been missing.
Yeah.
Now read on to the 53rd.
Okay, the 50th verse says, "Instead, give the Levite charge over the tabernacle of the testimony."
They got in trouble now. You already upset us man now because they special. I guess we ain't special. How about the other tribes saying, we ain't special, huh? Levi is special. You know why he's special, don't you? That's what the whisper get around. How the whisper get around? You know why the tribe of Levi is special. Huh? Yeah, because that's the tribe Moshe is for. So you gonna get that. He gonna take care of his own people. Y'all right there. Yeah. That's just one song. That's just one there. Let me tell you something different. Some things even go above all that stuff you're talking about. even above the fact of Moshe's sister and Moshe's brother.
Yeah, because y'all chose Moshe, and y'all chose Aaron.
And that's it.
He told Moshe, your brother can speak for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we see that we have to understand how these things operate. We get still. And guess what? Moshe was the younger, Aaron was the older. So you can't always go by that. And the older should have the control. And I'm not saying it's who God chooses, dear folks.
Right.
So,
The youngest always get chosen.
well, but according to the law, according to the rules, and according to the way things are, it's the oldest that always is the firstborn. The right hand, the first one that's going forth is the one that the status falls on. You know, when we start coming to inheritance and all those things there, it always goes to the oldest one and those things there. But God is not locked in with how we are. God chooses who we want to. Among the sons of Jesse, who did he choose as king?
The youngest.
That's what I said. It seems like the youngest always get chosen.
Well, God chooses God chooses by the character and those things. And who got that?
The oldest is always married.
And so we have to follow through on those things there. And go. So read on.
Instead, give the Levites charge over the tabernacle of the testimony, its equipment, and everything else connected to it, with it. They are to carry the tabernacle and all its equipment, serve in it, and set up their camp around it. When the tabernacle is to be moved onward, it is the Levites who are to take it down and set it up in the new location. Anyone else who involves himself is to be put to death.
Oh, did you get that? Did you get that?
Mm-hmm.
There was 11 other tribes.
Yep.
But God said, whatever to them, we all God's people. How come I can't do that? Why can't I do that? What did he say?
Yeah, he put to death.
Put to death.
He should put to death.
In other words, my business.
Hey, that's it. We have people, but I just want you to see certain requirements and all that there, and positions and all that requires responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
But I can do something. Yeah, but do you have time? Do you realize how much time it takes to do those things there? See, all of those have been around and real around those and see around know what it does. See? Just like the Levites here and all those things. There are those that, hey, it takes you just can't just. You that been in that position, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And the scripture says, it says, the Levites' tents shall be clustered around the tabernacle. It says, as a wall between the people of Israel and Yah's family.
Yeah, that was the setup.
Oh my goodness, to protect them from the fierce anger of against their sins.
Yeah, because they didn't understand the position that they was in, that they was the bringers. They also was the deflectors.
Sure was. Of Yah's wrath.
They was also the mediators. So there's a responsibility that goes along with those things.
It does.
And a requirement that goes on, and it takes a lot to do those things. As I said before, you got to have somebody that's set there to initiate those things and to have a responsibility. Otherwise, you will come up with some messed up stuff.
There's a lot of dead bodies. Because Father God on these things, and he was sitting there, he was there with them, so they had to be really, really careful. Instead of being jealous, they should have been scared.
But that's the whole issue of it. We don't operate like, all we do is we look and see that somebody else is getting treated different from me and all those things. Yeah. It's just like I said before, if you're going to have a dinner, you better have somebody pointed out that's going to take the slack and going to take all the flack and everything too about just having a dinner. You better point somebody out, I'm telling you. But just everybody just bring whatever they want to bring. You might come out here and everybody got a cornbread dinner. Right now, I ain't too happy about you having just a cornbread dinner.
Nothing wrong with that cornbread. Make sure you got some butter.
Well, if you just only got cornbread, hey, ain't no butter, you ain't got no buttermilk, you ain't got nothing. Hey, just cornbread. I bought cornbread. No, you gotta have some coordination. You gotta have some harmonizing. You gotta have someone to set over and say, no, you do this. No, we don't need no more of this. And then she gets special treatment. He gets special treatment. Yes, they get those special treatment because they got a special responsibility that goes along with that. Because they got to put it with you. Not to put it with me. Can we just don't operate that way? We have to have a central thing. And so that's why God chose those chief men, chief on all that, and he went to them and talked to them and those things there and held them responsible. Then the responsibility falls down on the others. Otherwise, you're going to have people just running helter-skelter, doing whatever they want to, you ain't going to get nothing done. You're going to have nothing but a mess. So that was the whole thing of getting everything in row, getting everything in set up here because he know how they will. He said, the Levites is not to be counted. Oh, there you go. Making them special. There you go. How come they can't be counted in the same count that we got? Well, if you just reverse that thing there, you could say you were special. Hey, we got counted and you didn't. But no, they didn't see it that way there, see. Well, let me tell you something, dear folks. When you get designated to certain things and certainly that, hey, there's a requirement that goes along with it. There's a time period that goes along with it. See, you got the time to be doing all that? See? It's the other day here. Hey, we went and did something just to do some things and get around. We was gone all day long. Ain't that right, Shamash?
Yep.
Hey, that's just the way, certain things, it takes response, it takes time. But I got my stuff. I don't understand that. But somebody got to say, hey, I got to push my time aside too to get this here done here and to do those things there. So God said, leave my Levites alone because I got them set up because I know you ain't going to come and do all this. You ain't going to want to do this. So I'm choosing the tribe of Levi for them to do this. And they're going to be on control of it. And don't even start looking like you want to do it.
Don't even look.
That's right.
Whoa.
And don't start giving them a hard time. That's what you let them know. Because I will hurt you. Did I say that wrong?
No.
Did I say that wrong?
No. You say he's gonna hurt him.
No, he say he gonna kill him.
He said he's going to kill him.
Well, I think killing is kind of hurt, man.
It's worse than her. Her didn't get over there.
Don't put a hurt in all of this.
He might get hurt.
Yeah.
Some deaths are so quick you don't even feel that.
You gonna.
So I tell our people, that's why I tell them, when you come in, you want to be a part of us and all that. I say, sit there and hear and listen because you don't know about God. I'm telling you about it. It's going to take you a while for you to understand. God, that we say, we talk about, do not play.
Right.
Do not slay. That's right. You see that same thing?
They holler about Jesus won't do this and Jesus won't do everything. Hey, but if it's the same man, I'm thinking about man. Hey, he put he put some whoops together there and laid some lashes on some folks.
Yeah,
He hurt.
no.
Huh?
Now he hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was just, I don't think he just, get out. Yeah, right. Yeah. Don't be done. He was laying some lashes on me. Yo! He whooped them guys on out of there. See? And so people can get all these things all mixed up, get them all wrong. But God, and as you were saying, even setting up in the camp, that's what I was going to go to, but you got it already ahead of time. God even set there up in, if you look at their picture there, right there, that was a picture of the camp that they had around it, and right there, that white and everything, that was the sanctuary. That was the tent of meeting and the sanctuary and all of it. And right next to it, coming out of it, was the Levites. They were set around it. Guess what? Some of the other tribes got upset. How come we can't be? Why did they get that position? Why did they? Huh? Go to Numbers, the 2nd chapter. Numbers 2, 1 and 2.
Adonai said to Moshe and Aaron, the people of Israel are to set up camp by clans, each man with his own banner under his clan symbol.
Now notice this. God allowed and let them specify out that each clan had a banner. Each tribe had their banner. See? But there still was a central. Just because. What was the banner? What was the banner for Judah?
The lion.
The lion. See? The lion. That was the banner that God, why? Because he was identifying them out.
Each house had their own banner.
See?
Each house had their own banner. Yeah. Each clan had their own banner.
But there was a representative of each tribe on what he was saying here, because then you have a whole setup for the whole house of Israel, and Jerusalem, get this here, Jerusalem was to be the center for all 12 tribes. That's why you had 12 gates. So you had a symbol that was inclusive of all of the ones that came in. They had their own private banners and all that to identify out those things and who they was and all that, because God has some specific things that certain ones done and those things there operated. But yet still, we all had to operate as a whole body. That's why I'm putting, and so he says here, Numbers, the 3rd chapter, and start reading the 11th verse there. Numbers 3.
Adonai said to Moshe, I have taken the Levites from among the people of Israel in lieu of every firstborn male that is first from the womb among the people of Israel. The Levites are to be mine. All the firstborn males belong to me, because on the day that I killed all the firstborn males in the land of Egypt, I separated for myself all the firstborn males in Israel.
Now notice it. God didn't say that was all that was killed in there. He just said that these are the one that he had separated, and therefore he took the males of Israel because he saved their males, and he has something special for them to do. And that's why he's doing it. See, so God knows why he makes a choice of things. You ain't even thinking that. Ain't even thought about that. All you see is that, hey, they get special treatment. And we ain't getting that special treatment. they get this and that there, and we supposed to be all getting the same. Not so. Not so. God was trying to tell them something. He chose the tribe of Levi. He chose them and the priesthood, for to be a special people unto him.
Mhm.
Right?
Right.
Read on.
Both human and animal. They are mine. I am Adonai. Adonai said to Moshe in the Sinai desert, take a census of the tribes of Levi by clans and families.
Now, after those things, he numbered them by themselves. Oh, so they sure get special treatment. Yes, let's understand those things there. But then, after all those things there, what he done, God go to Exodus, the 19th chapter. Go to Exodus 19. And I want you to see how God make all this put together here. And how this all forms and how this all works. Even though they had their individuality, but yet and the difference there, but yet still God had an overhaul picture. Exodus 19, 18, and start reading the first verse there.
In the third month after the people of Israel had left the land of Egypt, the same day they came to the Sinai desert, after setting out from Rephidim and arriving at the Sinai desert. They set up camp in the desert. There in front of the mountain, Israel set up camp. Moshe went up to God, and Adonai called to him from the mountain. Here is what you are to say to the household of Yaakov.
To the household of Yaakov. How do you call the household of Yaakov?
Including all of them.
You're including all of them. That's exactly right. So you can understand what he's talking about. Those things. Even though he had individuality, they had their own tribes, they had their own clans and their own leaders and those things there. Even had their own banners. See? Even there were different houses within the houses of the house. Just like you had the house of Aaron of the Levites, and God used some of them special. Just like he used the house of David. Just because you was a Judite didn't mean that you was a king. Y'all got that? Are we understand that?
Yeah. Just the house of David.
Yeah. We got a whole lot of these brothers running around here. I'm Judah, yeah. And won't be there. And think they're king because they're from Judah. I say, hey, just because you're a Judite don't mean that you don't king.
That's right.
You got to be the house of who? David. There was a lot of Judites. There were no kings. But people get that attitude, they get those things because they get it all mixed all up and think that because all the Hebrew Israelite brothers that we talked about, Judah, everybody will be Judah. Because I said, man, you can't be. Don't mean you're wrong. Don't mean Judah because you from there. I ain't gonna say you ain't Judah, but hey, you ain't no royalty. I don't automatically make you royalty.
Like the guy down in prison, huh?
Yeah, the guy down there in prison, man. You talking about he needed this, and he needed all that there. I asked him, brother, what tribe you from? See? Judah.
Mm-hmm.
But he wanted his priestly garments and stuff. I said, wait a minute now. So you can
Tribe hopping, man.
Huh?
Be tribe hopping.
Yeah.
Cross dressing.
Well, read on. Let's see what happens.
Here's what you have to say to the household of Yaakov to tell the people of Israel. You have seen what I did to the Egyptians and how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now, if you will pay carefully attention to what I say and keep my covenant, Then you will be my own treasure from among all the people, for all the earth is mine, and you will be a kingdom of Kohanim for me, a nation set apart. These are the words you are to speak to the people of Israel.
Now, who are you talking to?
God, Moshe.
See? But who was Moshe talking to?
Oh, he talked to the children of Israel.
Yeah.
House of Jacob.
The house of Jacob. So that meant that he was talking to all, how many tribes?
12 tribes.
Well,
But yet still he said that the Levites was going to be a priest. Then he turned around and he said that now the whole house, the whole 12 tribes is going to be what?
Priest.
A priest. Well, how that going to work? How am I sitting up there getting mad because of so and so and so on, and God, when God then turned around and said, wait a minute, you're a priest too. You see how God do things and all? This is why it's not wise for us to, good for us to compare ourselves among ourselves. And this is why it's not. And you cannot get the fullness and oneness of harmony with that attitude. Sitting around, we're thinking, hey, and guess what? You're right. But now, what you have done is you've taken that which is done and soured it and made it a terrible thing, then rather than understanding the fullness of it. That's what God said to the Levites, because they start fighting among their own selves. So what's wrong with you Levites? Because they got mad at the house of Aaron. Really? He said, wait a minute. Y'all ain't fussing about the fact that you're being treated different from the other tribes. Now, why you want to get mad now? Because you're being treated differently from the other clans within the tribe. Yes, the Kohen Haggadah is different from you. Yes, he is treated different from you. But you are treated different from the rest of the tribes. You ain't fussing. Yeah, we ain't fussing about that. We fussing about what Aaron's family did. See? Now, see, I know that. Yeah. I know that's what you, but see, you looking at that thing from the wrong view. You ought to be glad, hey, I'm doing it. And then guess what? The whole rest of the house of Israel, they get mad. So I said, well, how come the Levites get this and they get that special stuff? I said, what you getting mad and upset about?
Y'all got land.
So they did. Yeah, that's true. He said, but what you get mad about everything? I made you priests and stuff and set you up different apart from all the other nations. The other nations ought to be getting mad at me and how they said about that.
And they do.
Yeah, and they do. You see how that thing snowballs?
Yeah.
But God don't want that to be among us. God don't want us to have that attitude of it. But the enemy wants, as long as he can get that in there, he's going to keep us from getting the full gift of what God has planned for us. And so this particular time is for us to work on get straight. And we got those attitudes, and we need to get rid of those things. Because that knocks us out from what God wants. Can understand the fact that yes, there's different treatments. There are different levels. You're going to find out tomorrow when we start talking. There were certain distances. God made a difference there among the house of Israel and stuff. He said, you can come here. You can come here. This far you can go. You come on up here. This far you can go. And you come on up here. And well, how come I can't go on up somewhere?
Right. Even Moses couldn't even go.
See? That's right.
He was in charge. He set it up.
That's right. And so, therefore, we got to understand how God is on those things. Yeah. In the Brit Hadashah, it tells us that 1 Corinthians 12, it tells that we're to operate as a body, dear folks. And you cannot treat the hands like you treat the feet. You just can't do it. Hands is not designed in all this to be. The hands is not set up with that strength and everything like the feet is. The feet is set up and everything to have all the weight of the body. It's structured that way. Your hands is not structured to do that. But I can walk on my hands. You all got people.
Right, come up with something.
Yeah, you all got people.
Why the hand get to hold the cup? I'm feet. I can hold the cup. You can hold the cup. Why you got to hold the cup? Right. You got an honorable position. You hold up the whole body. You tripping because he can hold the cup.
Yeah, right. See it.
Tripping. Respectful.
1 Corinthians, that started the 14th verse there. What did it say?
It says, for indeed, the body is not part of, but indeed, the body is not one part, but many.
It's not one part, but many.
If the foot says, I am not the hand, it stopped being part of the body. And if the ear says, I am an eye, so I am not part of the body, that doesn't make it stop being part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, how could it hear? If it were all hearing, how could it smell? But as it is, God arranged each of the parts of the body exactly as he wanted them. Now, if they were all just one part, where would the body be?
Hey, look. You be in trouble, dear folks. I don't care how you know. It drag this body out and try to run on your hands.
Or without no toes.
Yeah, that's what they find out. Just simple stuff like that there.
That's why I said it says, on the contrary, the parts of the body that seems to be less important turn out to be all the more necessary. You try to walk down the street with no toes.
You ain't kidding.
You walking stiff.
Can't balance. You surprised how much your toes have to do with it.
That was awesome.
And if you think your hands ain't, if you think your fingers and stuff, lose a thumb.
Or just the tips. Just lose the tips of your fingers and see how that work out for you.
So every aspect, everything that God set up and all the things has its important and those things, and that's how we got to understand and stop letting these other things on, because we can't get to our full value of what God wants to do. This oneness, don't people say, well, you just want somebody to be like a robot? No, that's not the oneness he's talking about. The oneness he's talking about is us to be in a harmony. That's the oneness he's talking about. You tell them the feet is trying to get out and run. I don't feel like running.
Everybody gonna suffer.
Right. I don't feel like running.
You run. You talk too much. You run your mouth too much. You run.
But you can't run. You can't run without the eyes. Not too wisely. Right.
Run into something.
Right. So you need the eyes to help you, to guide you where you run.
Even your hearing too, because something approaching from the back, you gotta move. Oh, okay, you move back to right. Somebody
right. We need all these things.
Somebody holler out it's time to run. If you didn't have no ears, you wouldn't hear.
Yeah, that's right.
I need my family. I need all of it. Everything. The rebukes, the reproof, the encouragement, everything. Give it to me.
You need them hands and everything, because you might be running, you might have to jump over something, you might have to move something out the way to That's the unity that it's talking about. And that's what it's talking about, how great it is for brothers to dwell together in harmony.
Get out the way, I'm coming through.
Sometimes you have to go by. Sometimes you have to go by a smell.
Yeah, that's it.
I smell something burning.
Right.
And so God has given us all these things for us to work together. But if we start warring against it, and that's the same way that each other, we're all different beings and all of that, but we make that one body. In closing for the day, dear folks, we all need to do our part well. That's what it counts. See? So that the body will be well. But like I said, if the feet decided, hey, I ain't running, I don't want to do that, had the whole body gonna be in trouble. Include the feet.
Right.
See? So we go, but I ain't gonna do it on running because the brain is the one that told me, send that signal and told me to do that there and that. And if the brain want to do that there, let the brain get out of it. See, that ain't no why. That, you know, that's, well, you show more favor to the hand, let the hand do that then. No, that's not the purpose for those things there. We all gotta do our purpose and do those things there. We all must learn how to follow instructions. Every aspect of us has to follow instructions. See? Even the brain has to follow instructions. You know that. That's why we was talking about that other night. The nerve go up there and tell them, say, hey, brain, something wrong. How do you tell the brain that there? Pain. And then when that brain get that there, when he get that signal there from the nerve down there,
He gonna send a signal to the eyes and go, look and see what's going on there.
exactly. Oh, the hands gonna get a job. Jump up. You ever jump up, hit your chin bone or something, bump up your head, hit your ankle or something. What happened? You gonna rub that back for it. Just think of your body that reacted that and then working at it, man.
And we were the other day, I was on my mama's couch. She got this little glass table sitting behind the couch, and she told me about flopping on the couch. Man. I sat over there, flop, bam!
Right.
It's flopping.
Yeah, I
You sit gently now.
So it was amazing that when I hit earlier, when I hit my chin right there. And then I'll talk to a certain person over here, and I look at his brother behind me and say, I'm just manning up, bro. I'm a man up. He don't feel it. But my arm blade, my brain would say, hey man, get down there in the road, bro. Forget about being man up.
Forget about all this nigga pretty and all that stuff there. Hey, it's time to take care of that situation down there.
Right, that shin bone was like, you can put that ego in your pocket.
You better believe it, boy. That shit for her, boy. I bumped that on the bed, that post, that on the side. Damn, boy. Man, that hurt.
Straight skin.
When one body part goes through, the whole body goes through. Like walking at night and somebody left something, you hit your toe on something, bang! You're like, oh man, your whole body going through. You shaking on that toe.
Yeah.
You going down there, you gonna do it. It's gonna get some attention. And that's the way that it works and it works in harmony all things. So we must all learn how to follow instructions, everything about us, that it might be well with us. And God gives us instructions. This is what I want to bring for us. May God bless us. And as our oath is, how shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? If I forget the Jerusalem, let my right hand get her kind. If I do not remember thee, Let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Yerushalayim above my chief joy. Psalm 137, verses 5 and 6. Okay, Marsh and I will take over and finish up on this here. Okay. Shabbat shalom.